You're listening to Real Talk English with Anna and Jake. We're so glad you've tuned in today.
And today, we're skipping the textbooks to focus on the phrases you'll actually hear on the street.
Today, we are discussing something that scares me more than failing. We are talking about drifting.
Drifting is a silent killer. It isn't a dramatic crash. It isn't a crisis. It is that slow, quiet feeling of waking up one day and realizing 5 years have passed and you haven't moved. You're in the same job. You have the same English level. You have the same habits. You didn't choose to stay there. You just drifted there.
That is exactly it. Most people think wasting your life looks like playing video games for 12 hours a day. But for our listeners, busy professionals, wasting your life looks very different. It looks like busy work. It looks like checking email for the 20th time. It looks like productive procrastination. You're moving, but you aren't going anywhere.
I feel this deeply. I call it the autopilot mode. I wake up, I grab my phone, I scroll, I go to work, I come home, I watch Netflix, I sleep. I'm efficient, but I'm not effective. I'm just completing the loop.
There is a famous concept called the drift. Imagine you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean. If you take the oars out of the water and stop rowing, what happens? You don't stay still. The current takes you. But the current rarely takes you where you want to go. The current takes you to the rocks.
That is a terrifying metaphor. So if we aren't intentional, if we aren't rowing, we are automatically drifting toward a life we didn't choose.
Precisely. Life does not default to success. Life defaults to entropy. Chaos, decay. If you do nothing, your health gets worse, your relationships get weaker, and your skills, like English, get rusty. You have to fight the current just to stay in the same place.
So why do we do it? Why do we drift if we know it's bad? I think for me, it's about comfort. Drifting feels easy at the moment. Rowing is hard.
It is the pain of discipline versus the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. But the problem is, discipline feels heavy right now. While regret feels heavy later, our brains are wired to avoid immediate pain, so we choose to drift. We say, I'll start my real life tomorrow.
The tomorrow trap. We talked about this before. The belief that future Jake will have more energy, more motivation, and more time than present Jake. But future Jake is just as tired as I am.
And that is why we are doing this deep dive today. We aren't just giving you vocabulary, we are giving you a wake-up call. We want to interrupt the pattern. If you're listening to this on your commute or while washing dishes, I want you to ask yourself, if I keep doing exactly what I'm doing today for the next 10 years, will I be happy with the destination?
If the answer is no, then you need to pick up the oars.
Let's look at the mechanics of why we waste time. It isn't because we are lazy. I truly believe that.
I don't know, Anna. Last weekend, I spent 4 hours watching videos of people restoring old rusty tools. That felt pretty lazy.
But why were you doing it? Were you bored or were you avoiding something?
I was avoiding my taxes and my English study plan.
Exactly. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It is an emotion management problem. You weren't watching the videos because you loved them. You were watching them to numb the anxiety of the difficult task.
That hits home. It is an escape. When I think about studying English, I feel stress. What if I'm not good enough? What if it's hard? So my brain says, hey, look, a rusty hammer. Let's watch that instead. That is safe.
We call this the resistance. The more important a task is to your soul, the more resistance you will feel toward doing it. You don't feel resistance to checking Instagram. You feel resistance to writing that book or applying for that new job or speaking in a meeting.
So the fear is actually a compass. If I feel afraid of a task, it probably means I need to do it.
Yes, fear indicates value. If you didn't care, you wouldn't be scared. But there's another factor, decision fatigue.
Explain that.
Your willpower is like a battery. Every time you make a decision, what should I wear? What should I eat? Should I answer this email? You drain the battery. By 6 p.m., your battery is empty. You physically cannot make the decision to study English, so you drift to the couch.
This explains why I sabotage my evenings. I have big plans for the evening, but when I get there, I'm a zombie.
So the solution isn't to try harder in the evening. The solution is to remove the decision. You need to automate the behavior so it doesn't require battery power.
Like setting out my gym clothes the night before?
Exactly. That removes one decision, or deciding that you always study English while you drink your coffee. No negotiation. If you have to ask yourself, do I feel like studying today? You have already lost.
Negotiation is the enemy. I spend more energy arguing with myself about doing the work than actually doing the work.
Stop the negotiation. You're the boss and the employee. The boss sets the schedule, the employee executes. The employee is not allowed to say, I don't feel like it.
Okay, we understand the problem. We are drifting to avoid pain and we are tired. How do we stop? I need practical tools, Anna.
Strategy number 1 is the 10-minute rule.
I have heard of this. Is it just doing something for 10 minutes?
Yes, but here's the psychology behind it. The hardest part of any task is the friction of starting. It's the inertia. Once you're moving, it is easy to keep moving. The 10-minute rule tricks your brain.
How?
You tell yourself, I will only study English for 10 minutes. If I want to stop after 10 minutes, I'm allowed to stop.
That lowers the stakes. 10 minutes is easy. I can do 10 minutes of anything.
Exactly. But here's the magic. 90% of the time, once you start, you won't stop. You will finish the 10 minutes and think, I'm already here. I might as well finish the chapter.
It overcomes the initial resistance.
Strategy number 2, environmental design. If you want to stop drifting into your phone, you have to make the phone hard to reach.
I literally have to put my phone in another room. If it is on my desk, I will touch it. It's automatic.
We call that a forcing function. You are designing your environment to make the good behavior easy and the bad behavior hard. If you want to read more English books, put the book on your pillow. You have to touch it to go to sleep.
I did this with the TV remote. I took the batteries out.
Really?
Yes. Now, if I want to watch TV, I have to go find the batteries and put them in. It takes 30 seconds. But that 30 seconds gives me enough time to think, Jake, do you actually want to watch this? Or are you just drifting? Usually, I don't put them in.
That is brilliant. You added friction to the bad habit.
We have used some heavy words today. I want to break down the vocabulary of not wasting your life. These are words professionals use when they talk about productivity and purpose.
Let's do a deep dive on 5 key terms. 1, intentional, Anna. I use this word a lot. Living intentionally, meaning doing things on purpose, not by accident context. Be intentional with your time. Don't just let the day happen to you. 2, stagnant, Jake. This is a gross word. It describes water that doesn't move and grows bacteria, meaning showing no activity, dull and sluggish, not developing. Context, my career feels stagnant. I haven't learned anything new in 2 years. 3, the default mode, Anna. This comes from computer settings, meaning the automatic option that happens if you don't change anything. Context, your default mode is laziness. You have to actively switch modes to be productive. 4, to sabotage, Jake. I said I sabotage my evenings, meaning to deliberately destroy, damage, or obstruct something, often yourself. Context, stop sabotaging your progress by staying up late. 5, momentum, Anna. This is the physics of productivity, meaning the force that keeps an object moving. Context, use the 10-minute rule to build momentum. Once you have momentum, the work is easy.
Momentum is my favorite word. It feels powerful. When I have momentum in my English learning, I feel unstoppable.
And you lose momentum the moment you skip a day. That is why consistency is more important than intensity.
We are coming to the end of the masterclass. I feel motivated, but I know this feeling will fade. Motivation is temporary.
That is why we need a system. Here's your challenge for this week. It is called the audit.
Sounds like taxes again.
No, a time audit for just one day. I want you to track everything you do. Every 30 minutes, write down what you did. Scrolled Instagram, worked, daydreamed.
That sounds painful. I don't want to see how much time I waste.
You have to see it to fix it. You cannot change what you do not measure. When you see 2 hours on TikTok written on paper, it shocks you. It wakes you up from the drift.
Okay, I will do it. 1 day of total honesty.
And once you find that wasted time, I want you to reclaim just 30 minutes of it. Use that 30 minutes to do something intentional. Read English, exercise, call your mother.
Reclaim the time, stop drifting, grab the oars.
Thank you for listening to this deep dive. If this episode made you uncomfortable, that is good. Discomfort is the price of growth.
Don't waste your life, guys. You're the captain. Start steering.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today on Real Talk English with Anna and Jake.
Keep using these new phrases in your daily life, and we'll see you in the next one.